My name is Nick Pappas. I am a retired Marine and I'm running for Denton County Judge. That is going to be the west part of Frisco, and that is going to be the entirety of Denton County. I want to do this a little backwards. First I want to talk about you, and then I want to talk about me. So, if you are a part of this Frisco Democratic Club, thank you so much. If you are here and you are not, there is an opportunity to sign up right over there. And if you're not sure if you want to be, there's a gentleman right here that would love to talk to you about it. Every single place that you are at, there are some club, some group, some campaign that needs your help. It doesn't always need you to knock on doors. It doesn't always need you to hand out literature on the street corner like you're homeless begging for change. There are many different ways to help. There's phone banking, there's showing up to these kind of events and speaking on behalf of candidates that you believe in. All of these things help. What does not help is doing nothing. And unfortunately, doing nothing got us to where we are today. Every single election, which I'm sure you all remember, for the last 30 years has been the most important election of your life. Hasn't everybody heard that every single election? Every single one, it's dire straits, but it's because everybody keeps forgetting to vote. We voted in President Obama, and we were like, cool, we won, excellent. And then we forgot the midterms. And then he was able to pass almost nothing, except if it had to be bipartisan, gutted, skeletal, and then everybody's pissed off that we didn't get what we were supposed to. This is our opportunity to get exactly what we need. We make sure that it's not just a blue wave, but a blue tsunami come this November, and then we can make sure, and y'all are applauding for yourselves on that one, because every single one of your votes is going to ensure that it is a blue tsunami and not just a blue wave. You're going to make sure that everybody around you votes and that you're talking with people. And if they want to vote red, you don't talk to them about voting. You just let them figure it out. But
vote on November 30th?
Yeah, exactly. Tell them it's November 30th. Yeah. But whatever you do, just make sure that you don't give up and you don't allow anybody else around you to despair. Because every single person has power. Nobody just walks into these offices, otherwise I would have already done that and I wouldn't be campaigning. Everybody needs to get elected. Everybody needs votes. So every single vote counts. So when you hear all these candidates talking about, oh, we've got record numbers voting for us, whether they were opposed or unopposed, it's amazing. And thank you all so much for that. And remind everybody that thankfully in this election, we don't just have 2 pages. We've got 5, and it's amazing. So they need to vote all the way down. And a lot of people, they don't know who to vote for. The main reason you want to join these groups is to stay informed, so that way you can do action. Every single one of these groups come up with a voter card with their voting recommendations, and you're able to take those into the voting booths. But if you're not a part of these groups, you're not going to know where to get the card, you're not going to know where to vote, when to vote, you're going to have so many questions, and then they're going to treat you like they treated Dallas County, and we don't want that. So, that was my part talking about you guys. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for being active and doing your civic duties. Really appreciate that. Now we're going to talk about the candidates. So, I am running for Denton County Judge. I will be presiding over the Commissioner's Court. What that means is I get to decide what they're voting on, I get to decide what we're talking about, and I get to shut down any discussions that start going astray outside of what we had agreed to speak about. The best part about that is I can make sure that we are not railroaded like we are currently being. And another great part about that, when we're talking about Vicki Goodwin, she's going to be the Lieutenant Governor. She's going to be able to do that with the Texas Congress. She's going to be able to decide what's brought to the floor. That's what Dan Patrick's doing. And I know everybody's loving what he's doing. We'll be able to do the opposite of that once she's elected. And thankfully, she's got a wonderful head on her shoulders. She's got amazing priorities. These are the kind of things that we're looking for these positions. Now, we got done talking about that. We can talk about the railroad commissioner. We can talk about all these other things, but let's get back to local. I'm running for Denton County Judge. What does that mean? Nobody knows what that means. A lot of people think that it's just sitting in a courtroom. Thankfully not, because that would drive me insane. Thank you so much, Katrina, for what you're about to run for. But that will mean that I get to use my imagination to find out how to help the county. What do I mean by that? Well, right now, Denton County does not have a county hospital. Denton County does not have drug treatment centers. Denton County does not have 24-hour food banks or 24-hour homeless shelters. We're relying on our neighboring counties for these things, partnering with people who also do not want to help anyone. That is not effective. And as everybody can see, every single person over the course of the last 10 years has only had more to complain about. Nobody is like, oh my God, things are getting so amazing, so much more affordable, so much more wonderful and available. Not a single person. Not even the Republicans. But they're just like, well, we have to suck it up because otherwise, pronouns, right? Like, hey, war in Iran or pronouns? It was a tough choice. I get it. But one of the things that I really appreciate, this young lady talking about, people say that they're fiscally conservative. I need to learn from you, because as soon as they say that to me, I'm like, oh, so you're an idiot. Cool. Because fiscally conservative makes no sense. You are a whale in supporting Japanese fishermen. That's what you are. Like, it's beyond insane. A lot of people don't understand that the bills that we sign today don't go into effect immediately. They will have actual provisions in those bills when they become laws, if they're going to be going into effect immediately. The vast majority of budgets do not go into effect for 2 to 3 years after they're signed. That's just how that goes. So when you see the economy crashing at the end of a Republican's term and starting to recover at the middle towards the end of a Democrat's term, it's because we managed to turn that much around. Which is why you've been able to see, Trump has 2% of America's presidency and 25% of America's debt. Numbers, they're amazing. But that's what fiscally conservative is. So when people say that, please giggle at them. You've earned it. Then we're going to talk about when we're moving down from the county into the different precincts. We've got our justices of the peace. Like I was talking about Katrina, Trista, they're running for justices of the peace. When you are getting stuck on those roads because the county doesn't fix them, and then you decide that you need to speed, and then you go in front of a judge, that's the justice of the peace. And you're going to be like, listen, I had no choice. And you want a judge that's going to be like, what was the circumstances? Instead of laughing you out of that seat with a big old ticket. Justices of the peace are important because they are your compassion on the bench. You're going to hear that word a lot when you go to all of these speeches for the justices of the peace, compassion. Because we don't know if that kid at school is a legitimate danger to everybody around him, or if he needs direct intervention to prevent him from ruining his life. Speaking from experience. You don't know if the person in front of you standing next to a landlord is a serial squatter screwing with their landlord's money, or a single mother who cannot catch a break. So compassion is what is important. Then the last thing that I'm going to talk about is when we're talking about being local, when we're talking about being present, when we're talking about doing things, what do? You make an effort. That's the only way that we're going to win this, is with effort. You see all of these candidates, every single one of these candidates are running in Texas as a Democrat. That is awful. Yeah. That is legitimately awful, because you've got a very few, outspoken few that are like, hell yeah, we're going to win this, Democrats, yeah. But the vast majority of Democrats are like, why would you even try? I was told multiple times to run as a Republican because Democrats don't vote. And then in this last primary election, I got 65,000 votes. That is, yeah. Thank you for that. That was y'all. That wasn't me. That was you. I was one of them. My boy was a reluctant second. But it is important. That is 300% voter turnout for a primary for the Democratic Party. 300%. So, I got 7,500 more votes than the Republican incumbent in a primary. I got more votes in my election. I got more votes than anybody that has run for my position in the last 15 years combined. And that's only because the last 15 years is the only data available for the elections. It's probably the last 300 years. I can claim that. Nobody would know that. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not Trump. It's fine. And I cannot wait for him to ruin the $100 bill. I'm looking forward to that because he's going to turn, like he turned the greatest nation on earth into what it is right now. That's what he's going to do to the $100 bill. The most valued paper currency on earth is the American $100 bill. Literally, like there is no nation that does not accept that. But then you're going to have Americans not accepting that. So I'm looking forward to that. A whole bunch of businesses with fuck ICE and do not accept denominations at $100.
But he doesn't want to be a king. He doesn't
Oh yeah, no, he just wants to be a dictator. No king, just fascist. It's like Julius Caesar. I'm not going to be an emperor. I'm just going to sit in this throne. Anyways, this isn't my stand-up routine. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out. Please take an opportunity to join all of your local groups. Take an opportunity to speak with every single one of these candidates. Ask them how they are going to help you, how they are going to represent you. Because when you individually get that answer, you will know if you want to support them. You will know if you are going to get off of your butt at 8 a.m. to go to some phone bank to talk to a bunch of pissed off neighbors. You're going to know if you want to get up and block walk for these individuals. And the best part is, everybody around you, every single person in your life listens to you in one way or another, whether it's to agree with you or to use you as an example for the moment you leave the room. But you will have a direct line of communication with everybody around you. That will mean more than me going to your house, walking up to your dinner table, having everybody wondering how I got in, but then wondering what I'm doing talking to them. But when you talk to them, it makes all the difference. So please do so. Thank you all so much. Hope you all have a good day.